Moving to Paris might sound like a dream come true, especially for an American seeking adventure, culture, and a change of scenery. But is the reality as glamorous as it seems? Today, we're diving into the truth behind making the move to the City of Light. Whether it's the food, the culture, or the romanticized lifestyle, there's a lot to uncover that isn't always as perfect as Instagram makes it look. Before we get into it, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any updates from our channel. 10. The cost of living will shock you. Paris has a reputation for being expensive, and that reputation is well-earned. Rent alone can swallow a massive chunk of your budget, with tiny apartments costing more than spacious homes in many U.S. cities. On top of that, dining out, groceries, and everyday essentials often come with a hefty price tag. Adjusting to these costs is one of the biggest hurdles Americans face when moving to Paris. Life in Paris demands a different approach to spending, and understanding how to budget effectively can take months to master. Many expats are surprised by the price of even the smallest pleasures, like a coffee on a terrace or a croissant from a neighborhood bakery. 9. Navigating bureaucracy is a full-time job. The paperwork required to live in France can feel endless. From visas to bank accounts, navigating French bureaucracy is a test of patience. Simple tasks like signing up for utilities or registering with local authorities can involve multiple visits and mountains of forms, all in French, of course. This can be overwhelming for Americans accustomed to quicker, more streamlined processes. And let's not forget the timelines. What might take a week in the US could take months in Paris. Many find themselves frustrated by the need for extensive documentation and proof of almost every detail of their lives, from income to housing. Getting things done in Paris often requires persistence and a lot of follow-ups. 8. The language barrier is real. While many Parisians speak English, it's a mistake to assume you can get by without learning French. Everyday interactions like grocery shopping or asking for directions are much easier when you can communicate in the local language. Plus, speaking French is often essential for finding work or integrating into the community. Parisians value their language, and while they may appreciate an attempt at speaking French, fluency can open doors to experiences and relationships that remain inaccessible otherwise. For Americans used to a monolingual culture, this can be a tough adjustment. Language classes and immersion take time, and it's easy to feel isolated when you don't fully understand what's going on around you. 7. Cultural differences can be a challenge. The French way of life is quite different from what many Americans are used to. From meal times to social norms, adjusting to a new culture can be exciting but also exhausting. Parisians tend to take their time during meals, valuing quality over speed, which can be a stark contrast to the grab-and-go culture in the US. The pace of life is slower in some ways but faster in others, such as the hustle of the metro during rush hour. Understanding unwritten rules, like greeting shopkeepers when you enter or how to navigate small talk, is part of integrating, but it can take time to feel truly comfortable. Americans may also find the French sense of humor or attitudes toward work-life balance to be very different from what they're used to, which can lead to culture shock. 6. Finding housing can be an ordeal. Looking for a place to live in Paris is no small task. The housing market is competitive, with demand often exceeding supply. Many Americans are surprised to learn that landlords in Paris require extensive paperwork before signing a lease. This can include proof of income, a guarantor, someone who agrees to cover your rent if you can't, and sometimes even a bank account in a French bank. It's not unusual to visit dozens of apartments before finding one that meets your needs and budget. On top of this, apartments in Paris tend to be much smaller than what Americans are used to, and adjusting to the compact living spaces can take some time. 5. The weather isn't always picture perfect. Paris may be beautiful, but its weather is famously unpredictable. Rain is a frequent visitor, and gray skies can linger for days, especially in the fall and winter. Americans moving from sunny climates might find it challenging to adapt to the gloomier atmosphere. Umbrellas and good rain gear are essential items for life in Paris, as you never know when a sudden downpour might hit. However, Parisians have a way of embracing the weather, whether it's cozying up in a cafe with a warm drink or taking a leisurely stroll along the Seine in the drizzle. It's a lesson in finding beauty, even on cloudy days. 4. Making friends takes time. While Parisians are polite, they can also be reserved, especially when it comes to forming new friendships. Many Americans moving to Paris find it challenging to break into social circles, as relationships in France often develop more slowly than they might be used to back home. Expats often recommend joining clubs, taking classes, or participating in language exchanges as ways to meet people and build connections. It's worth the effort, as once you've formed a bond with someone, friendships in Paris tend to be deep and long-lasting. relocating. Patience and persistence are key to building a social life in the city. 3. Healthcare is a game changer. One of the most striking differences Americans notice after moving to Paris is the healthcare system. France offers high-quality, affordable medical care, which often comes as a pleasant surprise. While navigating the initial process of obtaining health insurance can be confusing, the benefits far outweigh the hassle. Regular doctor visits, specialist appointments, and even hospital stays are much more affordable compared to the US. The peace of mind that comes with accessible healthcare is a huge relief for many expats, but it's essential to research the system beforehand to ensure a smooth transition. 2. Your eating habits will change. Food culture in Paris is on a whole different level. Forget about fast food or oversized portions. Parisians prioritize fresh, high-quality ingredients and enjoy meals as a social activity. Shopping at local markets, exploring boulangeries, and dining at charming neighborhood bistros become a regular part of life. This shift can be a revelation for Americans used to convenience-focused eating. However, adapting to the slower pace and learning to cook with unfamiliar ingredients can take time. Ultimately, it's a rewarding adjustment that many expats come to cherish. 1. Paris will change you. Living in Paris is an experience that leaves a lasting impact. The city has a way of shaping those who embrace its rhythm and quirks. From the art and architecture to the daily rituals of cafe culture, life in Paris encourages you to slow down and appreciate the beauty in the everyday. It's not always easy, and there will be moments of frustration, but for many Americans, the challenges are outweighed by the opportunity to grow, learn, and immerse themselves in a city unlike any other. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Your experiences might help someone else make the right decision.